That means that finishing first place and winning the 2022 F1 Drivers' Championship will be... Hello everyone, welcome back to Shogo Gaming Channel. It's been a while since I've uploaded, once again, but I'm back now to give my predictions on the F1 2022 season. I will be adding chapters to this video, so if you want to skip to a certain point, feel free to do so. Before we get into it, are you subscribed? If you're not, make sure you smash the subscribe button right now, or else. And also, let me know your predictions in the comment section, and I'll see what you all think. Right then, let's just straight into it. So then, first up, we have the Constructors. I'll start with 10th and make my way down to 1st. So then, in 10th place, and my prediction for the worst team of the season, once again, is Haas. So even though they never actually developed the 2021 car at all, with it being the same as the 2020 car, I still feel like they're going to be at the back of the pack. Their issues in testing, they've already started multiple times, resulting in them completing the fewest laps of the teams, of the two tests, with only 400. I think that the other teams have developed their cars better, and then with the sponsorship issues and the emergency replacement of Mazepin for Magnussen, I feel that Haas are in for yet another disappointing season of racing. So then, in 9th I've put Alfa Romeo. So it was hard to pick between them and Williams, but I went for Alfa because I feel like reliability will affect them, which was seen in Barcelona testing, which only saw them complete 175 laps, which is the second lowest. And also with a rookie driver in Guan Yu Zhou, I feel like it'll take him a while to get used to F1 and the fast pace. So then, up to 8th place now. As you probably expect, I put Williams. So I'm being optimistic with them this season, hoping that they're going to do better. So with the points that they got last season, which were mostly Russell, hopefully they can carry some kind of momentum over, even after losing Russell to Mercedes, having to bring in Alex Albon as a replacement. Let's just hope there's no more brake fires for Latifi or Albon over the season. So then, we are up to 7th place now, and I put Alpine. So they went for a performance over reliability season, and I think that will come back to haunt them. In Barcelona testing, Alonso's car overheated, Ocon was forced to stop, and they were both unable to use DRS. And then a couple of weeks later in the Bahrain testing, Ocon had yet more problems, leaving his car stranded in the middle of the track and bringing out a red flag. I think that without these reliability issues, they could be 5th or 6th, but I don't think these issues are going to get any better. So then up to 6th place now, I have put the British team Aston Martin. So they've been looking quite consistent over both tests, with not many reliability issues at all. Their porpoising doesn't seem as bad as most of the teams, so that should give them an advantage at the start of the season. They should be in the points multiple times, as seen last year with Vettel getting the podiums now. As long as they keep developing the car, that should be frequent occurrence. And the Mercedes engine should give them more pace over rival teams down the straights. So then, we're into the top 5 for the Constructors now. And in 5th place, I've put AlphaTauri. I put this because they were solid during both tests, and last season they seemed to go under the radar as one of the top midfield teams. With both drivers getting some solid results, but sometimes there was holds them back. He even said that he was surprised to get a new contract. And I feel like this season they've developed yet another solid car that should get them fighting at the top of the midfield and being in consistent points. And in 4th place, I've put down McLaren. Last year they looked very promising. They got that 1-2 in Monza and multiple great results on top of that. So as long as they can sort the brake temperatures out and refine the car, I think that they'll be, very good challenge to the title this year. And into the top 3 now. This is where things get controversial. In third place, I've actually put Red Bull. I feel like they focus on their 2021 car that much that it will hamper them this season, or at least for the start of the season. Because they've had less time to develop the cars compared to other teams such as Mercedes and all the other ones, and Ferrari. But I feel like by the end of the season they'll be up there, but I feel like it'll be too late by then. And I feel like Perez is still going to be slacking behind Verstappen a bit, as was seen last season in most races. So yeah, I've put them down as third. So then, top two. In second place, I've put Ferrari. So they stopped developing their car halfway through last season to develop the new car. In both testing, they looked very promising, consistency, fast, no reliability issues. They completed the most laps out of every team in testing with 778. So they're very consistent, promising. That's why I put them as, definitely in my title challengers this season, definitely. So that means that in first place and winning the Constructors Championship for the F1 2022 season will be Mercedes. So similar to other teams, they stopped developing their car halfway through the season to focus on 2022. As you can see with their designs, they've gone for a weird, out there side pod design, but there is no side pod design because there's no side pod. So hopefully that pays off, but if it doesn't, they will have to revert back to the one from Barcelona. They completed the most laps in Bahrain with 385, but their main problem is the porpoising, so I hope they may sort that out before the start of the season, because if they don't, they'll be in trouble. But if they do, I think they'll be consistent as usual, and they'll win yet another Constructors Championship with Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. So then that was my predictions for the 2022 F1 Constructors standings. But now let's move swiftly on to the driver standings. In 20th and last place, I put Guan Yu Zhou. Purely because he's new to F1. He's on the right in testing, but qualifying and races are completely different things. So I just think he's going to struggle for the first season, but I think if he stays next season, he'll be a lot better than what you'll probably see this season. So then in 19th place, I have put Mick Schumacher. I think that he might get maybe 1 or 2 points this season if I'm being optimistic, but realistically that's still going to put him right down the bottom of the pack, which is where I think Haas will be overall season anyway. Which brings me to 18th place, where I put Kevin Magnussen. Yes, I know he's only just returned to F1, but at the moment I still think he's a better driver than Mick. So I think he will finish just above his teammates, but we'll have to see what happens. Into 17th place now, and I have put the also returning Alex Albon. I think the Williams will be a lot better this season than previous seasons, because they finished hiring the constructors last season, so they've got more money to develop the car with. And Albon is a good driver, but I think the best he can do with the car is 17th. 16th, I have put Valtteri Bottas. He's only just joined Alfa Romeo now, and the car itself is alright, and he's a great driver himself, but I think the reliability will be an issue, and the car isn't quick enough to compete for these consistent point finishes. So I think he'll be slacking behind in 16th, but of course way ahead of his teammate. Into 15th place now, I have put Latifi. As long as he stays consistent like he was doing towards the end of last season. I think he will get multiple points finishes, which will bump him up the standings to around 15th, like I said. And he's been here longer than Albon in the Williams, so I think he'll know a bit more about the car than what Alex would. That's why I've put him higher than his teammate. In 14th, I've put the Alpine of Esteban Ocon. Even with his race win last year at Hungary, I feel like he's most people aren't, but he's still not at the calibre of his teammate Fernando Alonso, which will be a hard thing to do anyway. And with the car they've been given, they're going for performance over reliability, so I feel like that will haunt them later in the season when the power units and all components are constantly blowing up. So I think that will put Ocon and Alpine right down the order, so that's why I've gone for 14th for Ocon. In 13th place, I've put Stroll. He's an alright driver, but we all know the reason why he's there, and he has got better since he first came to F1. But I feel like he's got consistency, but he's not like up there for top 5 finishes with her. He's just kind of there, if you know what I mean. So I think he will finish around 13th place. On to 12th place now. I have put the second Alpine of Fernando Alonso. I feel like he will get multiple top 5 finishes, but then like I said, I think the car is going to let him down with reliability towards the end of the season. So they'll constantly be taking grid penalties, right at the back of the pack, which will just rule them out the race basically. So I've put Fernando in 12th place. We are getting to top 10 now, but first of all, in 11th place, I have put Sebastian Vettel. He's definitely got used to the Aston Martin now, because it was a lot different to the Ferrari. So I think comparing to his last season, he's going to do a lot better. So I think he might get podiums, but it'll be a tough task. But once again, I think multiple top 5 finishes will be on the card for him. So I've put him just outside the top 10 in 11th. So then, now you've heard my bottom 10. Let's get straight on to the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship. In 10th place, I have put Yuki Tsunoda. I feel like he's got the car to push for like top 7, top 8, whatever. But then I feel like his driver lets him down. Like, it's just these silly errors that you saw last season, like France, Imola. There's multiple other times as well. But he just like bottles under pressure, I feel. Which lost him a lot of points last season. And I feel like this season's going to be no different. I feel like he's going to be outdone by his teammate Gasly for the majority of the season again. But I feel like he will be just hanging around there, like I said about Stroll. He'll be hanging around and getting many top 10 finishes. But I think that's the best he's going to do. That's why I put him as 10th in the championship. In 9th, I have put Daniel Ricciardo. He currently has COVID-19, and I feel like that will affect him because, of course, he's had a lack of testing experience. That will, I think, affect him for the first 3 races while he gets used to the car, like he was in last season, because brand new team and that, it was hard to get used to things, and he was dropping down the order quickly at the start of last season. Hopefully that doesn't last long, and hopefully he can prove me wrong. But because of this reason, I just don't think he's as good as Norris anymore. Like, he's fallen off a bit, not much, but yeah, still. I've put him as 9th place. In 8th, I've put Pierre Gasly. Like I said before, I think he will outdo his teammates in most races and qualifying and just anything to do with F1. He should deserve a seat at Red Bull, but of course, no one's leaving there at the moment. And with the car he's got and the better cars ahead of him, I feel like the best he could do is like 8th or 7th or 6th. but I have gone for 8th this time, and we'll have to see how it all plays out. Into 7th place, this might surprise people, or it might not. I have put Perez. Last season he was slacking behind Verstappen for the whole season. He helped Verstappen out a lot, but he was probably the reason why Red Bull didn't win the Constructors. And I feel like this season won't be any different. Verstappen will outdo him for basically the whole season again, and I just feel like he's just not as good as he was anymore again, and he's never really got used to the Red Bull car. So for that reason, I've put Perez in 7th. Nearing the top 5 now, but before that we have 6th place to deal with, and I have put Lando Norris. I feel like he is the better of the 2 McLaren drivers, as you've seen with what I've put. So, and last season he was one of the best drivers on the grid, at least top 4. Just like consistent, apart from just a little mistake like in Russia when he wanted to stay out, and which cost him the race win. So, but I think he will learn from that and listen to the team more with their decisions. And I feel like he will be consistent again once more this season. And with the car he's got in the McLaren, I feel like that will put him up to 6th place. So then, top 5 of the Drivers' Championship now, for what I think will happen. In 5th place, I have put Carlos Sainz. Like I said earlier, the Ferrari this season I think will be very pacey, consistent, no reliability issues. It's always going to be there, the Ferraris are. But I feel like Leclerc is the better of the 2, which you'll see with what I've done after. At the start of the season, same with Ricciardo. He was just trying to get used to the new car, but by the end, the drive championship between Leclerc and Sainz was always like within 5 points of each other. It was close for the whole season, like that. They had their own little battle, which he ultimately lost. I think he did. So yeah, I think it'll be the same story this season, but he will be more consistent because he hasn't got to get used to. Well, everyone's get used to the same car really. So it'll take everyone the same amount of time. So I feel like he'll finish in 5th place this season. And ahead of Sainz, I have put his teammate Charles Leclerc in 4th. Like I was saying, I feel like he'll just get the higher finishes. I don't know what else to say really. He's just, I think he's the better driver of the 2, and he's going to be getting multiple podiums this year ahead of the Mercedes and your Red Bulls and all that. Into 3rd place now, top 3. Right, in 3rd place I've put a Mercedes, and I've put George Russell. Of course, he's in the new team Mercedes this season, which we've all wanted for many seasons now, and I feel like he'll do well this season. But I feel like at the start, I don't think Mercedes car will be as good as the start, and of course I think Hamilton is the better driver of the 2. But I think he'll be consistent, and he'll push the car to the limits, and for that reason I think he'll finish 3rd place this year. So then your final 2 drivers, there's one Red Bull and there's one Mercedes, and in 2nd place I have put down the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. I feel like, I don't know whether the car will be as good as like last season. I think they will finish 3rd in the championship, but I feel like most of that work, or maybe all of it, will be done by Verstappen, which is why I put Perez in 7th. He's a great driver, but I feel like he just kind of muscles his way through, well, most of the time illegally. But I'm not going to get into that conversation at the moment. So I feel like he will be fighting with Hamilton quite a lot again, and Russell, and the Ferraris, maybe the McLarens. But I feel like he will come out on top in most situations. So I have put Verstappen finishing second in the Drivers' Championship this season. So then that means that finishing first place and winning the 2022 F1 Drivers' Championship will be Lewis Hamilton. I feel like he's got more of a desire this season after what happened last season, which he got robbed. That's all I'm saying. He's always going to be there, whether he's got the top car or not, as we've seen in his early years with the McLaren. That wasn't an amazing, obvious title-winning car. Of course, there's not much else to say. It's just Lewis Hamilton. He's always going to be there. My opinion, the best or second best in the whole of F1. And for this reason, I think he'll drag that car along with him, put it on the top spot, and take home yet another Drivers' Championship and make history. But yeah, that is my predictions for both Drivers and Constructors Championship for the F1 22 season. Hope you enjoyed it. Like I said earlier, let me know your predictions in the comment section below. I'd love to know what you think of it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get ready for more videos. Thank you.
If you're ever gonna get that